a service of CNC Worldwide.
The Daily is a service of CNC News and Jib Jab Greetings. I'm Bud Lowell, your full AccuWeather forecast right across the top of your CNC local news page. Governor Andrew Cuomo has told New York State's congressional delegation that the cost of recovery from Hurricane Sandy and toughening the state's defenses against future storms will probably run to about $42 billion. The governor and New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, along with the executives of Nassau, Suffolk, and Westchester counties, released a cost estimate they developed together with private firms, including PricewaterhouseCoopers and the PFM Group. It adds up to $32.8 billion in direct repair and restoration costs, plus another $9.1 billion in mitigation and prevention costs. The governor also released a comparison between Hurricanes Sandy and Katrina. It claims Sandy damaged or destroyed some 90,000 more housing units in downstate New York than Katrina wrecked in the New Orleans area. It caused more power outages, and it affected many more businesses.
Hurricane Katrina got a lot of notoriety for the way government handled or mishandled, depending on your point of view, the situation. But when you look at the damage done, the economic damage, the housing damage, the damage to commercial properties, because of the density of New York, the number of people affected, the number of properties affected, was much larger in Hurricane Sandy than in Hurricane Katrina.
Governor Cuomo and the other top officials from the hardest hit areas want supplemental federal assistance to meet the repair and restoration costs. They say the extra $9 billion for mitigation and prevention includes flood protection for the World Trade Center site, road and subway tunnels as well that got filled with water, backup power for fuel supplies, sewage treatment plant flood protection, and better secondary power supply systems for healthcare facilities. A couple of hospitals lost power during the storm. The governor said these are common sense mitigation actions to correct serious problems that the storm pointed out. However, New York's request for this more than $40 billion in federal aid may not look like common sense to a lame duck Congress that's focused on trying to avoid the fiscal cliff. A Monroe County grand jury has indicted 16-year-old John Zachary on charges resulting from last month's school bus crash in Brighton. Zachary was charged with reckless driving, unreasonable speed, failure to stop at a stop sign, failure to keep right, and also with violating his restricted junior driver's license by having too many people in his car. Zachary was behind the wheel when his car smashed into the rear of a Brighton Central school bus on Warren Avenue. The car ended up wedged under the bus, and Zachary and all three of the students that he was driving home from Brighton High School ended up in the hospital. One student is still undergoing therapy at a rehab center. Federal authorities shut down 15 websites in several different countries on Cyber Monday for trafficking in counterfeit designer goods, and the U.S. Attorney's Office for Western New York says it also charged a Buffalo area man for selling fake copies of Microsoft software. Gary Hammer of Cheektowaga was charged with listing Microsoft Vista Business and Microsoft Office software for sale on Craigslist. The federal prosecutor says the software was bogus. The 47-year-old Hammer was arrested after he ignored a cease and desist letter from Microsoft's attorneys, and he now has a date with a federal judge in Buffalo on December 12th. And the man who kidnapped a woman from a church on East Ridge Road in Arundecoit avoided a trial by pleading guilty. He'll spend the next 15 years in state prison. Anthony Cannella of Rochester admitted to abducting the woman at knife point and forcing her to drive him to several ATMs around the area, where he withdrew money from her account. He left her on Lyle Avenue, considerably shaken up. Police caught him a few days later. To the left of this window, links to these and other stories. At the bottom of the page, links that you can use. Post us your news updates, things you've heard about and want checked out, salutes, shout-outs, business openings, all that sort of thing. We're a community news resource, and we want to know about it. So the next news is as it happens. The updates are when necessary. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.